Welcome. In today's video, I will talk about the story they are portraying. I mean, this is just hypothetical, but I think about what they are trying to do from a corporate standpoint with AI, not the technology itself, because as I mentioned previously, I believe AI as a technology is a wonderful thing. It is really amazing, but the only issue I see is a problem is the way how they market it. And I mean, I have been reading the news, and you just come across all the time this. Now we are getting to the thing called AGI, and AGI, as it is, it's quite of a interesting thing, I would say, because if somebody gets the AGI, in that case, they don't need to advertise anymore. They don't need to hire people for jobs. They don't need to do any of these things that these big companies are doing. When I talk about big companies, like I'm talking about the models that being trained by companies with bigger funds, for example, Claude and GPT series, Gemini, and you name it. I mostly talk about these big ones. It's kind of interesting in terms of if somebody gets the AGI, of course, that's game over for not for everybody, but in terms of the world how we know it. Because let's just think about it. If somebody gets AGI, they don't need people for jobs anymore, because it's not only for jobs that we talk about. For example, there is not going to be jobs for software engineers. No, it's going to be for any jobs, because if you have AGI and you already have robots, like humanoid robots, in that case that AGI is going to create a driver, it's going to create a operating system that will run the robot as intended. So there is going to be a explosion of intelligence to the point when you don't need any of these things. When I mean any of these things, it's any of these jobs per se. But of course, we are very far from this, and everybody knows that. And when I say everybody knows that, it's my notion of the tells that you can see. For example, these companies are still hiring people, but that is kind of against this whole we have AGI situation. Because if you think about it, if somebody needs to still hire people, that means they definitely don't have AGI. The one time I think there is going to be a tell per se is when they stop hiring people, because that's when you can assume that there is something changing. But even in that case, just you could say, just playing devil's advocate, that just keeping up the facade, and we need still people so it won't look as we have AGI. But I think that's one of those 4D chess game moves that is not really feasible, because let's face it, if any of these companies going to get to AGI, they will try to grab as much as they can, because if they get to that point, that means other people can get to there as well. But this to the side, I read in the news all the time that, oh, we are just 2 steps away from AGI. I don't know what are the steps, but we are 2 steps away. I think this constant story of we are there almost, and the most important part is the almost. It's getting into a point where people fatigues. I think this fatigue is going to grow, as I believe at the moment this fatigue is for people who were early adopters, and there is like different waves as I see it. So you have ChatGPT coming out here, and there were like big rise, and these people, these are the early adopters, and after you have, it's going down because this is the point when the early adopters disillusioned. This is disillusion. And after you have another wave that is even bigger, because this is the mainstream, and this is the mainstream adoption, and I believe we are in this point when the mainstream is getting to be disillusioned. And of course, after that, there is going to be a smaller cycle again, and this is going to be the late adopters. On the x-axis down here, we could say this is early AI. When I say early AI is a capability, and I wouldn't say mature AI because we are not even close to that point, but maybe a little bit better AI. This is for the mainstream, and maybe later on we're gonna have an actually just a better AI. What I'm trying to describe here is actually what I think it's going on. So if we are in this area at the moment where the mainstream adaptation happens, and we have a little bit of better AI than we had when the early adopters jumped on the, would I say, bandwagon. And at the moment, what I can find on benchmarks mostly is an incremental change, and that's really good. Some of these benchmarks even having a 2-3-5% increase is incredible, and that's just hats off for the technology itself. But my problem is, as I keep coming back to it, is the marketing, because people are trying to sell, but they're using fear tactics. And what I think is happening, there is like AI selling, and there are two forks here actually, because they are not selling for customers only, they're selling to investors. Since they are selling to investors, there is a two-way street that they are a part of. Because first of all, they need to sell to the customers to generate income on the first hand, but the income, it is not the main source of money that they have. The main source of money is coming from the investors, and what the investors want is paper money, I would say, or results, but these results are not realized in any way. And this is where they need to build up the hype so investors can jump on and they see that this might going to somewhere. Because let's be honest, if we think about it, nobody knows if AI is even going to pan out. At the moment, everybody is just shoveling money into the machine. And what the investors need is a hope of money. Because they are in this business. If you put money into something, it's just a more sophisticated gambling, I would say, because they give the money to certain groups of people, very, very intelligent and clever people, and they are trying to jump in. It's the same thing what happened with Facebook and Google and any of these big companies, Amazon, that we know of. And angel investors, I mean, yes, that's the early phases, but now we have big investors from banks and all these other sectors. And to bring this bottom part of my scribbles back to the actual video, because this is just part of the story. This is one part, this is the first, this is the second part, and we get to the end bit that I want to summarize. Is the AI hype is a tool to get more money, and to getting more money, the customers are going to be fatigued. That's going to impact the income, but that is not the main goal. The main goal is to get the big money from the investors, and by getting into these promises and partial results, when I say partial results, it's something like when Tesla says we're going to have full self-driving capabilities in 2 years, and that happened, I believe, in 2018 or even before. And if I can calculate correctly, that was 7 years ago, so we should have already self-driving cars for 5 years now, but I haven't seen one. But that's to the side. I'm not trying to mock it, because I understand what are they doing. They're saying these things so people are going to be excited, and that excitement is going to turn into investment money, because even the investors, they are human as well. And if they see that a lot of people is getting on board, they are going to think, well, this is a product that I could put my money towards, and that will make me more money. And exactly this is why getting more money from the investors is, at the moment, is the end goal. Because the third part is the hope of better AI. And this is from both ends. This is from the investors, and this is from the AI companies as well. Hope of better AI. And I purposefully wrote hope of better AI and not AGI, because I know very likely, like Sam Altman and Amadeo, apologies, I don't know his first name, they want AGI. I think everybody wants AGI to stay on the ground. I think hope of a better AI, that when they can market it. This is why I believe OpenAI or ChatGPT started to do this new response what it is I experienced, and now it's being more friendly, so it's trying to engage with you, and that's not really the capability of the AI. Is more the likeness, that so people are gonna like it and use it more and more and more. It's more like a marketing technique, not a technological leap that actually happened. So overall, this is just a hope of a better AI. And I think since we are getting into this part of the mainstream disillusionment, because people getting tired of this and this gonna happen, living in fear all the time, it is something that you can get tired of, and that's, I mean, that's very valid, because nobody wants to keep doing that. Yes, and yes, exactly. I think that's why we are going to see something different. Maybe we just gonna have like a more quiet time. I think it's already sort of started, this quiet time, but we will have a more elongated, more quiet time, and it's gonna be this die down of hype, but it doesn't mean the actual development is going to stop. This is what I thought I'm going to share with you, my opinion and how I see this AI market. And I hope you liked it. If you liked it, please leave a like and subscribe. If you want, just please leave a comment. I'm happy to read and interact. Whoever has a different opinion or who thinks I missed something. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. And as always, for the rest, we'll get to it.